One of my first videos was about weird town names in America. I asked y'all if I left any out, and you weren't too shy to tell me about some real doozies. So I'm back with 14 more weird place names supplied by you. Well, except one I found along the way and just had to tell you about. Sit back and enjoy. Let's go. Aeia, Hawaii. Marcy Lynn brought up Aeia, Hawaii, saying, all vowels and I bet you can't pronounce it properly. Well, Marcy Lynn, I agree. This is a great place name, what with not having any consonants and all, which would also make it a pretty interesting Wheel of Fortune puzzle. It's also a beautiful place. And as for the pronunciation, I'm finding two primary pronunciations, Aeia and Aeia. The years I spent with my wonderful Hawaiian friend makes me lean toward the long E pronunciation, but I'm going with Aeia. I hope you'll tell me if I got it wrong. The name is derived from a plant species in the nightshade family. Aeia, which about 10,000 people call home, is where you'll find Hawaii's largest enclosed shopping center, Pearl Ridge, that features a hospital and monorail. It's also the site of the Aloha Stadium and part of Pearl Harbor. It was the site of a sugarcane plantation, then a sugar refinery, until 1996 when the mill closed down and was subsequently torn down by its owners in 1998. Bumpass, Virginia. Thank you, Mark Lafferty, for suggesting this place in Louisa County, Virginia, which was named after one of the first postmasters in the area, John T. Bumpass. Now, I'm not sure whether it's Bumpass or Bumpass, but neither way seems any better than the other. Maybe it's pronounced Bumpass or something. John T. Bumpass's last name is reportedly derived from the French word bon pass, which means good passage. But if they just named it Good Passage, we probably wouldn't be talking about it. Bangs, Ohio. This village popped up near the middle of Ohio around 1873 along the railroad that was being constructed. It was not named after a botched haircut or the favorite pastime of a Casanova. It's named after George Bangs, who was a postal official when the first post office opened there in 1874. Thanks to Sharon Clark for adding Bangs to the list. Blue Ball, Pennsylvania. Velvet 911PK pointed this one out with the observation, about 8 miles away from Intercourse, PA is Blue Ball, PA. Coincidence? Blue Ball is so close to Intercourse, but, well, never mind. A few hundred years ago, a fella named John Wallace hung a blue ball from a post outside his hotel. The hotel became known as Blue Ball Hotel. That's a whole other naming issue we won't address here. In 1833, Earltown changed its name to Blue Ball. Spoiler alert, the hotel was torn down in 1997. Looneyville, West Virginia. Thank you, Stephen McNew, for suggesting this one. Looneyville is a sparsely populated, unincorporated community on Flat Creek in Roane County, right around the middle of the state. It's named after the pioneer settler, Robert Looney. If you find yourself in the area, check out the Looneyville Funny Farm for some fruits and veggies. Hell, Michigan. This is another one from Stephen McNew. Hell is northwest of Ann Arbor, Michigan, and it does freeze over. There are a few theories on how it got its name, but the one that seems to have been adopted by the locals centers around one entrepreneur, George Reeves, who built a sawmill, grist mill, distillery, and tavern, not to mention a general store, and who knows what else. As the story goes, farmers sold their grain to Reeves in exchange for distilled whiskey, so when farmers went to sell grain, their wives would say, oh, he's gone to hell again. The people of Hell, I guess they're called Hellions? I don't know, have steered right into the skid and embraced the name. You can get married in Hell, buy a piece of Hell, 1 square inch, scatter the remains of a loved one for a small fee, attend Damnation University, also known as Damn You, and receive a degree in any one of 100 totally fake but pretty funny fields of study, and a whole lot more. Daryl Stevens dropped a cornucopia of weird place names that are all close by, including Ponder, Krum, Stony, and Drop, all in Denton County, Texas, and the nearby Frognot in Collin County. Let's take a look at them and one bonus I found while researching these. Ponder, Texas. In the 1850s, a fella named Silas Crystal built a grist mill in the area. In 1886, Santa Fe started building a railroad and called the community Gerald, but 2 years later found out there was already a Gerald, Texas. So the town was named Ponder, after W.A. Ponder, a banker and successful landowner. The population in Ponder was rarely over a few hundred for its first century of existence. In the 1980s, a combination of a few new businesses, along with people migrating back to smaller towns from bigger cities, started to see the population of Ponder grow. In the year 2000, the population was 507 people, but by 2020, it was 2,442 residents. I can only ponder What might have caused the population spike over the last 20 years? If you know the answer, please share. Krum, Texas, also in Denton County. Similar to Ponder, Krum was born around a railroad depot in 1886 on 200 acres purchased by the railroad for the site. It was named after a railroad official, Charles K. Krum, but not much is known about him. In 1900, over 1 million pounds of grain was shipped out of Krum, earning it the distinction of the largest inland grain market in the world. Also, like Ponder, Krum has experienced population growth rather than decline, and now has a population of over 5,000 people. Stony, Texas. Still in Denton County, Stony was settled in the mid-1800s and was named for the type of soil found there. This wasn't exactly a draw for folks who planned to farm and till the earth. A railroad was built running through nearby Justin in the late 1880s, which made Justin a more attractive spot to settle. In 1914, there were about 100 people living in Stony, but by the 1990s, the population was around 25 people. Drop, Texas. And yes, we're still in Denton County. As the story goes, this town wanted the name Dewdrop, but the postal application was rejected. At the time, there was a Dew, Texas in Freestone County. So the founders just dropped the Dew from the name and kept the drop. A post office opened in Drop in 1886, but closed in 1910 as population dropped in Drop and migrated to nearby Justin that sported a fairly new railroad. Frognot, Texas. Nearby to Denton County is Collin County, where you'll find Frognot. At one time, there was a school and store, but both of those are long since closed. The old store was a gathering place for locals, and in October of 1965, they came up with the idea to form the Frognot Water Supply Corporation to provide potable water in the area. That water supply corporation lives on, and it currently serves 600 customers from 3 wells through 68 miles of water lines. As for how Frognot got its name, one theory is that the area was overrun with frogs. The frogs were exterminated, making the community Frognot. Another legend is that the school banned boys from bringing frogs in with them. Yet another possibility is that the name actually started as Frognod because the frogs sing when they nod off to sleep. Or some folks say it's because the locals did not want a railroad switch, also known as a railroad frog, leading to the name Frognot. Dish, Texas. I stumbled on this one in Denton County. I guess Daryl was holding out on me. Landis Clark incorporated the town of Clark, Texas in June of 2000 and served as its first mayor. Then along came the Dish Network, offering free DVRs and free basic TV service for 10 years to all residents in exchange for naming the town Dish, all capital letters. It was a done deal. Now, if we could just find something worth watching on TV. Bald Knob, Arkansas. Bruce Maves told me about this one. Bald Knob, with a population of about 3,000, is referred to as where the Ozarks meet the Delta. Its name comes from a ridge of layered rock without any trees that stood out as a navigation landmark for pioneers. Toad Suck, Arkansas. This is another suggestion from Bruce Maves. It's about 10 miles south of Conway, Arkansas. Toad Suck is home to the Bigelow Rosenwald School, which is on the National Register of Historic Places. The annual Toad Suck Days, a festival started in 1982 that raises funds for scholarships, was held at the Toad Suck Park until 1990, when flooding at the river caused the fair to be moved to downtown Conway, where it's been held every year since. The origin of the name, Toad Suck, isn't clear. Some say it's named after river travelers who got stuck in shallow water, wandered into a nearby bar, and sucked on a bottle until they swelled up like toads. Others think it might be an unfortunate mispronunciation of a French phrase meaning narrow channel in the river. I guess the real origin may never be known. Is a person from Toad Suck known as a Toadsuckian? Toad Sucker? Well, how'd I do? Are there more good ones out there that we're still missing? Please let me know because I really do enjoy checking them out and sharing them with everyone. Thanks for watching.